Hey YouTube, hey Facebook, it's your girl Chic from Chic Speaks. Welcome. It's been a minute. I haven't been on here in a while, been kind of checked out, but I have been kind of trying to keep up with what's been going on with the whole situation with Shanquella Robinson. I'm sorry, Shanquella. Yeah, she's Robinson. Listen, y'all, it's a whole bunch of names being thrown out. And I'm on here tonight trying to just piece all of this together. It's a lot going on. It seems like there has been an arrest of Daejanae Jackson. You know, it's crazy. I'm hearing all these people talk about, Shanquella Robinson and then Daejanae Jackson and then the name getting crossed. But I want to come out. I'm coming on here because I want to talk about it because as of late, from what I'm hearing, Daejanae Jackson has been sent to Mexico. Basically, she has been placed under arrest and sent to Mexico to kind of deal with the situation. And as of right now, she's the only person that I've heard that has been, sent over to Mexico to deal with the situation. But again, there were like six friends that was supposedly with her on this trip last month. What are they calling them? The Cabo Six. So I want to get into all of this today because, like I said, this is my first time coming out here to talk about it. A lot of people have been talking about it. So everybody has their spin on or their version of what they believe is going on. But definitely chime in, let me know, give me whatever information you have. And I'm just trying to sift through all this to just put the pieces together because it's like a puzzle. And there's a lot of moving parts. And I would say it's definitely a scary situation for anybody who is involved, in particular, Daejanae. Listen, y'all, I've been wondering, y'all think Daejanae gonna talk? Because right now it's like everything is being kind of put on her. And I guess it's easy for that to happen given the fact that that video that was released, at least the first one that was released, you saw her in the video fighting Shanquella Robinson, but they say, there's other videos with fights. I honestly, I haven't seen the other videos with fights. You guys can let me know if you have with, I know supposedly one of the friends, Winter Donovan, supposedly fought Shanquella as well and is alleged to have done, I guess, did the blow that kind of took her out. So like I said, I haven't seen that video. I did a little short search on that video before jumping on live and I didn't come across it. So I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. But if you guys have seen it or whatever information you have, definitely let me know. But as of right now, Ms. Donovan hasn't been placed under arrest. Only Miss Jackson, I heard Miss Donovan, she did, I guess she was speaking out. I don't know if it was on her socials. And she was like, well, I'm not the one that's seen in the video, fighting her. So it kind of gave me the vibes of, it was like the way she said it. It was almost like, listen, all I'm saying is I'm not the one on the video. I ain't saying I ain't do nothing, but I'm saying y'all need to prove it. Like, that's kind of what I took out of it. Because it's like, who says that? She didn't say like, no, I didn't do it. That's not me on the video. No, sis was like, I'm not the one on the video. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Listen, do you get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to break this down because my question is oh girl, is Daejanae gonna take the fall? Listen, I think sis is gonna be over there singing like a canary. I know the heck I would you? Because right now everything is on her. So I'm sure she's over there terrified. And I don't feel sorry for her. It's just a sad situation. It's just a sad situation. So I want to get into some things. CNN posted an article which kind of, talked about, the status. Y'all know, listen, y'all, we going back old school. Y'all remember I used to be out here and I just was Inspector Gadget on stuff. So we finna go back there. And CNN, they posted an article just talking about just the whole situation, the femicide. It's just so many layers to it. And I want to get into that as well, as far as the femicide. Like, will Shanquella change the game when it comes to what I want to say, when it comes to acknowledging women, in particular Black women, when things happen to them? Because, it's always been these conversations of how when it comes to the Black woman, it's just like, sometimes the situations with the Black woman, it's kind of like, oh, they'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like brushed under the rug. It's not dealt with in the same way as, if there are situations with non-Black women. Y'all know what I'm saying. And it is what it is. So it's like with this whole situation and the term, femicide, been thrown around. It's just like, wow, will people start putting some respect on the Black woman's name? That part. So let me go ahead and try to share my screen. So we can get into it to see, because like I said, CNN, they posted, gave us a little update on what's going on. So I want to, get into that and see, like, what's this thing? You see the headline reads, Shanquella, this is today, y'all. Now, let me make sure y'all can see my screen. Y'all let me know if y'all can see me, hear me, listen, talk to you, girl, talk to you, because y'all know I be talking. So I want to get into it because I really want to have this conversation, because I only can hope that with a situation like this, things do change and there are more conversations surrounding the death of Black women. I'm just going to put it out there, because Black women get knocked off like every day, all day, like we do, but it's like it doesn't get talked about. It doesn't get a lot of attention. So today, or right now, today, I'm giving Shanquella Robinson attention. Fortunately, a lot of people in general have been giving her attention. And I don't want it to just stop there with her when something horrible, happens, that, okay, Shanquella Robinson was just like the last one, to be talked about. I want it to be a thing. So therefore, if more attention is kind of brought to the situation, this stuff won't happen as frequently. So, that's my thought. That's what I can only hope to happen. So let's get through this article. So this is CNN. They're saying Shanquella Robinson's death is being investigated as a femicide. Here is what it means. So many people, femicide is probably like a new terminology, that they've heard, but it's just that, what I've heard, high level, is the death onto a woman, whether it be at the hands of a man or a woman. But when the woman is violently taken out, that's what's known as femicide. So CNN, make sure y'all can see my screen. Okay, so it says CNN is saying the killing of Shanquella Robinson is being investigated as a femicide, an unfamiliar term for many in the United States, as the gender motivated crime has not been defined by U.S. legislation despite being a global issue. So like I said, it's been an issue with women, being taken out, but I just don't feel like, at least when it comes to Black women, it's been something that's really been taken serious. So Robinson, a 25-year-old student at Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina, died October while staying in a luxury rental apartment in the Mexican state of Baja California, sir. So prosecutors in Mexico are seeking to extradite one of Robinson's friends as a suspect in the case. So here's the thing, you guys. This article was dated today, November 30th, but they're saying, as this article is reading, as though someone hasn't been extradited, already. But like I said, there were reports out there already saying that Daejanae Jackson was arrested and sent back to Mexico. So that's why that's why I decided to go ahead and come live, because I'm trying to get an understanding of really what's going on. So CNN is making it seem like, listen, nothing has happened. So we'll carry on with this article. It also goes on to say Daniel De La Rosa, the Attorney General for Baja California Sur, told local media last week that an arrest warrant was issued for the crime of femicide, or the killing of a woman because of her gender, in connection with Robinson's case. No one has been charged in the case, and authorities have not released the names of Robinson's friends. Unlike Mexico and other Latin American countries, the U.S. does not have a law recognizing femicide as a different crime than homicide, which several experts say does not mean that killings targeting women are not happening in the U.S. at an alarming rate. So yes, they are. Black women getting knocked off like at a very, listen, the numbers are up. We can probably go down that rabbit and look into all that to get the stats on that. But I know without even going digging that Black women, are taken out at high numbers. Femicide happens all the time in the US, and many famous murder cases that we all have in our consciousness are actually femicide, but we don't have that label on them. So let's scroll on down. It's become a crisis in Mexico. So it looks like, I guess, the whole thing against crime or murders onto women, it's not just an isolated issue that's here in the United States. It's a whole issue over there in Mexico too. Femicide is the most extreme form of gender-based violence, or acronym GBV, and is defined as the intentional murder of women because they are women. So that's a mess right there. So that definitely should be a whole situation that you try to knock off somebody just because of their sex. Come on now. Come on. We got to do better. Let's check these comments. Super Patriot said that's a huge thing in Mexico, all over the world. Actually, listen, thanks for joining in, Super Patriot. Welcome. You guys, as you come in, make sure you like, share, subscribe. It's been a minute since I've been out here doing a live, so I just want to make sure, we get all the information and we just try to piece it together. But thank you for the comments. Definitely keep it going. Like, share, and subscribe. So listen, I knew, I'm in the US of A, so I really don't be tapped in like that with what's going on around the world with things such as this. So you're saying, all over the world, it's kind of like a thing. And I believe you. I mean, because I just know just from just basic understanding that I know in many countries, the woman, especially a lot of times I don't know what's the word, like the country where the Middle Eastern people, like a lot of times it's like women are beneath men, I know, in a lot of countries. So with just from that level, I can see why the numbers when it comes to the deaths of women can be high in other parts of the world, just by me understanding the hierarchy on who's considered to be respected when it comes to genders. And I know, listen, women be kind of like down there at the bottom. We down there with the kids. So I think the boys, I'm sure probably boy children probably get more respect than women in many countries. So let's carry on with this article. It says femicide falls into two categories: intimate and non-intimate femicide. Let me see where I left off. Intimate, non-intimate femicide. The former refers to the killing of women by current or ex-partners, while the latter is killing of women by people with whom they had no intimate relationship. I would say that from at least just being in America, most of the time when I'm hearing about a Black woman dying, is pretty much at the hands of like a partner, somebody she was in a relationship with. Like that's usually like it's just far too often. Unfortunately, I hear stories where when that woman basically tried to exit the situation, leave with the kids, next thing you know, she's taken out and she's no longer with us. I mean, it's just sad. But y'all, I was listening to I don't know if Alexis Tyler, I don't know if any of you all follow her. She's a content creator and she's a psychic medium. And I was listening to her live today, and she was talking about, her birthday was this past Sunday, and she was talking to an ex who had been stalking her, and he was trying to, get her to allow for him to come through and, take her out to dinner and stuff like that. And so she was trying to be cordial, but she was like, in the conversation, he threw out there, like, you can't just put it on me like that, put that snapper on me like that, and then don't want to give it to me no more. Stuff like that is why men basically take women out. And that kind of scared the heck out of her. So she was like, oh my God. And just me listening to her tell that story, and he outright said it, like, yo, like, sometimes, the stuff be so good, we can't let go of it. And y'all women, y'all shouldn't be putting it on us like that. So if you're going to put it on us like that, you just going to have to deal with what's coming if you want to stop. And, she said it scared her. Hell, it scared me. I'm listening like, what the hell? But he said that. So like, that's why I said most of the time when I hear the stories of the femicide against women, it's typically, involving like a domestic situation, or, it was at the hands of a partner, a husband, a boyfriend, or if it was like a same-sex relationship, the girlfriend or the wife or whatever. So it's just crazy. So it says in most countries, femicide is not different from homicide in criminal law, but Mexico is among of at least 16 countries that have included femicide as a specific crime. I'm curious to know if femicide takes place more, let's just say using Mexico as an example, does it take place in Mexico more than it takes place in the U.S.? Because like I said, we always hearing about women getting taken out here in the U.S. So I really think that, that femicide and it being a thing, it should be explored here, in the United States, as, a particular law, and in hopes that it would just bring down our numbers in the cases of violence, murders against women. So the article goes on to say there could be a history of violence, sexual or not, and threats. And if the victim was in a community, for example, if she was killed and her body was in public, let me see. Or if the victim was in a community, for example, and if she was killed and her body was in public. Okay. So that's that. A video circulating online in recent weeks appears to show a physical altercation inside of a room between Robinson and another person. Her father, Bernard Robertson, told CNN his daughter is seen in that video being thrown to the floor and beaten on the head. So like I said, I did see that video, but apparently they're saying there's other videos out there as well. I believe I heard there's like 3 videos totaled out there. So y'all can let me know, what but I've heard that there's at least 3, but like I said, I've only seen 1. Super Patriot said, check the stats on the pregnant women. It's sad. Wow. Like, I'm gonna have to do that, Super Patriot, because it's just it's a sad situation, and it's a whole problem clearly around the world. Let me see. Garcia says that nearly 95% of femicide cases in Mexico go unpunished. Now that is crazy. But remember I said, the value of women is down there with the kids. And I think the boy kids probably go above the women. It's just, it's just sad. Quote, if you commit a crime of femicide, there's really not that much of a chance for you to get convicted for it. And that's one of the reasons why we see that rates are still very, very high. Let's see. Alexandra Marquez, an assistant professor of Spanish with a focus on gender and sexuality in Latin America and the Caribbean at Michigan State University, said the feminicidal crisis in Mexico started several decades ago and the first gained national attention in the 1990s when hundreds of women were killed in the Mexican border city of Ciudad Juarez. There used to be this idea, especially in central Mexico, where it was like women are getting killed over there at the border, but because it's expanded all over the country, it's sort of become the phenomenon that can no longer be ignored. When you're in Mexico, it's part of day-to-day conversation. That is crazy, scary, all in one. Listen, y'all, ladies, protect yourselves. Like my thing, y'all, I'm at a point right now. I told my husband, I really don't desire to leave the country, you know how sometimes you go on your trip with your girls or your sister. Listen, I'm not doing that. If my husband out going out the country with me, I'm not going. It just period. Because as they always say, you know, you hear a lot of Black women talk about not feeling protected and things like that. And a lot of that, you know, I'm a strong advocate of like marriage, things like that, because I'm married. I've been married for 18 years. And I believe that part of, you know, with being married, you know, that's that protection that you also have when you do have a husband. And, you know, things like that can really make a difference when it comes to how you go about moving, you know, where when people recognize and see you that, okay, oh, okay, well, she's not by herself. There is a man with her. Like people pay attention to that. And I, I just, I do see that a lot of women, especially Black women in particular, aren't protected. And I think a lot of times Black women maybe devalue or don't really look at the importance of that until like they're in a situation. It's like, oh, snap, I can use a man right now, versus it being like a forethought of, okay, factoring that in with the whole idea of choosing to be married versus not. I'm just saying, because it's just like, which one is it, sis? You say you're independent, you don't need a man, or do you need a man? Because it's almost like a lot of the women, like they don't need no man until really when they need one, when they get in the whole situation. So article also goes on to say more needs to be done in the US, experts say. Listen, I ain't no expert, and I led with saying more needs to be done here. So the article says the disproportionate killing of Black women, the crisis of missing or murder indigenous people in the 2021 deadly shootings of women at Atlanta area spas are some examples of cases that could potentially be labeled as femicides, experts say. So I'm definitely familiar with that Atlanta spa situation because, you know, I live in Georgia. So that was like a local big story here where I live. The article says, as a society, we need to recognize that these are not one-off deaths. These are, in fact, connected to patterns of masculine violence. And we need to think more closely about preventing that kind of violence, said Evans, the scholar at Emory University. An analysis of homicide data by the Violence Policy Center shows that 2,059 women in the U.S. were killed by men in 2020, and 89% knew their offenders. Remember, I told you a lot of times it's coming at the hands of an intimate partner. These stats are showing that, you know, more often than not, these women are killed by people that they know. And listen, I don't know if you guys, any of you all are familiar with that story that just happened here over the weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, with the 12-year-old that was killed near Atlantic Station. And there was a news clip that I saw of his mom. Now, mind you, the little boy was 12 years old, and he was killed, you know, as a result of, you know, of gun violence. And she was saying, y'all, that she called the police 30 times to request for them to come get her son and basically remove him from her house because he was terrorizing everybody. And I'm thinking like, dang, not come get my child because he's doing the absolute most. So, you know, these are things when I'm talking about as far as with the violence of women, this is a 12-year-old boy, a child. So already just as a baby, the violence was in him because he's no longer with us. So the violence was in him to where imagine what type of person, as far as with a man, would have grown to be if he was already doing the absolute most in the home with his mom and other children. So, you know, what do they call it? It's learned behavior. Like it's a serious thing. Men just not at 35 just saying, oh, I'm going to become violent. No, this is something that's kind of goes back to childhood. Like the experience in the home, witnessing violence. You know, I think a lot of, you know, it had to do with too, just the music, the influence that, you know, the young people have. So it's almost like you become like brainwashed and as you're growing, and you're listening to this music and listening to things that's violent, it's like it's in you. And then this is just how you're moving. Those are my 2 cents when it comes to that, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But think about it. Most of like the rap music nowadays, it's like it's talking about sex and violence, killing, guns, like all of that. stuff with no substance. Basically, it is what it is. It is what it is. So article says gender-based violence is a global problem. So that's what you were saying, Super Patriot, is like it's a real deal. It's a problem like everywhere. It's not even here. So Super Patriot said, I don't think the cops could do anything with a 12-year-old. The part that got me is when the cops said they basically, the 12-year-old and the group of kids that he was with, they started out at Atlantic Station, but they were there after curfew. The curfew at Atlantic Station is 3:00 p.m. And the kids started, but now, mind you, the little boy, the 12-year-old, was with another group of teenagers, and they started fighting amongst themselves. So when they started causing, doing the absolute most, the cops ran them off. So the part I didn't understand is why phone calls weren't made to these young people's families, but the cops just sent them on their way. So after they left, that's when the group started fighting again amongst each other, and everybody just pulled out their piece. And I think they said like 6 people was shot, and the 12-year-old was the only one who didn't survive. So, I mean, it's a whole mess. But like I said, these men aren't suddenly becoming violent and knocking off women. They were violent children 9 times out of 10. They were violent children. That's what I'm saying, y'all. It's levels to it. Super Patriot said, where did he learn it from? Listen, the mom was on the news crying. She didn't have no mention of a father or a daddy being around. I personally think a lot of the behaviors, it comes from just the community, the environment that these children are living in. And again, the music, social media, the influence of just, the entertainment and who they choose to follow and idolize. So that's kind of what I think, just from me, just paying attention to what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world is just nonsense it's just nonsense. Like it's not much substance, period, that's going on right now when it comes to what's, in the entertainment, with music, the social media, just, listen, y'all know I'm not lying. It says this, let me get back to this article. It says gender-based violence is a global problem. An estimate of 81,100 women and girls around the world were killed intentionally last year, with about 56% of them by intimate partners or family members. Remember, I said most of the cases I hear them about, murders against women is from a partner, from an intimate partner. So the article says it's hard to describe the full scope of gender-based violence. The report says because roughly 4 in 10 killings reported by authorities have no contextual information to allow them to be identified and counted as gender-related killings. These rates are alarmingly high, as we can see. However, that's the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, I can only hope that this situation with Shanquella can just, be a change. Like, unfortunately, that's what happens a lot of times, where it'll just be something just tragic or terrible happens, and it provokes change to where laws and things can kind of get into place and, be created and things like that. Article also says that femicide isn't classified legally for what it is. Police cannot investigate properly. Other challenges in stopping and preventing femicides include the lack of resources and training for authorities expected to implement laws. What women and girls deserve around the world is to have a world that respects their choices, that respects their rights. We need to have equal rights. We have a primary right to be free from violence, because if we are free from violence and harassment, we can achieve and we can thrive in the world, period. Like, we have to make change, because if the laws aren't taking the situation serious as it pertains to deaths and murders against women, then the people who are out there doing it aren't going to take it serious. Like, just think about it. That's just common sense. They're not going to take it serious. So it's going to have to start with just legislation, and just from the top, with them implementing, put some checks and balances in place or something that'll have people to think twice before they start to go around, committing these crimes, in particular against women. So that's the latest, with that as it pertains to Shanquella. Now I want to jump over to an article pertaining to the arrest of Daejanae Jackson, because like I said, it is not looking good for the kid. It's not looking good for her. But I'm just still trying to understand how they thought that they can go over to Mexico and do the absolute most and think that they can just come back home and carry on and live their very best life. Like, listen, I can't even put that on. That's a young person's mindset. I don't know, because to me, from a logical perspective, I don't understand how they thought that it was just you can just go on over there, commit a whole crime, murder, and just go on. And from what I heard, they used her credit card, Shanquella's credit card, to buy airplane tickets to fly back home. So like I said, it's a whole bunch to this, but let's just see what News One got to say. This is an updated report from today. It says Daejanae Jackson arrested for her alleged role in the death of Shanquella Robinson. The family of Shanquella Robinson could finally be getting some justice. Like I said, the question is, y'all think Shanquella gonna start talking? Daejanae gonna start talking, because right now she's the only one who is in custody. So let's see what this article is saying. Thank you guys for joining. Please make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. So let's get into this article. Daejanae Jackson, one of the friends of the accompanied Shanquella Robinson to Mexico, was arrested in connection with her murder. According to Yahoo, Jackson was arrested on the night of November 28th by Interpol agents after Mexico issued an arrest warrant seeking Jackson's extradition. She was then placed in federal custody while she awaits the beginning of her extradition process to Mexico. The arrest warrant explicitly said that Shanquella Robinson was the victim of the femicide. So listen, this case is fully classified. We even have a court order. There is an arrest warrant issued for the crime of the femicide to the detriment of the victim and against an alleged perpetrator. A friend of her who is the direct aggressor said Mexican prosecutor Daniel de la Rosa Naya. Actually, it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. We are carrying out all the pertinent procedures, such as the Interpol alert and the request for extradition to the US of A. It's about 2 Americans, the victim and the culprit. Child, like, listen, do y'all think sis she need to be talking and telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Or do you think, sis need to just go ahead and take the fall? Super Patriot said they literally taped it. Made no sense at all. That's that part I'm talking about. Like, listen, I know we're in this culture nowadays, especially with a lot with young people, but you got grown people that be running around tape recording everything as well. But that goes in line with a lot of times how these rappers and entertainers, they'll rap and do a whole mixtape about what they did and then be in their feelings when it get used against them in the court of law. Like, sir, we ain't in here making up that you shot and killed Ray Ray. You said it in your last mixtape. That's the part that takes me out. So I don't even know what to make of that. Listen, everything that's going wrong with today, I blame it on social media. I blame it on the internet. Anybody know me? Why the world messed up? The internet. I blame the internet. Everybody want to nobody knows what privacy is anymore, being discreet. It's just like everybody just want to post everything, have a viral moment, and now it's getting you a whole case. Like, these people are running out here getting whole cases because of them telling on themselves. Like we wouldn't even known if you hadn't told on yourself. Nobody didn't tell on you. You told on your damn self. Let's carry on, y'all, with this News One article. What happened to Shanquella? So it goes on to say Robinson and as many as 6 of her friends arrived in Kabul on October 28th. The next day, she was allegedly shown on video footage being beaten up by another young woman. It appeared that at least two people were filming the violence. The person who recorded the video posted on social media, and another person whose phone could also be seen recording the footage. During the violence, a man's voice could be heard imploring Quilla, the woman identified as Robinson, to at least fight back. So I did hear that. Very disturbing. While Robinson's friends blamed her death on alcohol poisoning, and an autopsy performed by Mexican authorities determined that she did not have alcohol in her system. So even that part, what made them think that you done beat this woman to a pulp and then you're gonna be able to pass it off as that she just died from alcohol poisoning? And they said all these young folks came out of the college system. Listen, I know they be just talking mess about the American school system, but I would like to believe that it's better than this, because this right here, with what these college students are given, is really making us look bad. The education system, our whole country, is definitely a bad look. I'm just mad that they just thought that they can even just pull that off and then hop on a plane like nothing ever happened. It's the audacity for me. I don't know if this is narcissism. I don't know what you call this, but I personally feel like all of them need to be dealt with. And what are your thoughts? There was one of the six. Her name was what, Elise? Her sister, apparently, the day that she flew out, had apparently, I think earlier that morning, died at the hands of her. It was basically a murder, a femicide, where I don't know if it was an ex-boyfriend or current boyfriend, but basically he took her out. But the young lady Elise still carried on and went on her trip. So when I learned that, I'm like, really? Like, when you talk about signs of when you need to stay home, and like, if that ain't a sign, I don't know what a sign is. How do you have your sister? Listen, I'm gonna need y'all to talk to me, help me work this one out. How do you learn that your sister has died at the hands of some fool that she used to mess with, and then you still proceed to go on a vacation? Like, I understand, we be about, oh, okay, well, I done already paid my money. But I would imagine that in some situations, you like, damn, that money, like, okay, you just would deal with that later with seeing if you can somehow get your money back. Hell, they said Quilla paid for the Airbnb anyway. All the other ones did was just pay for their flight ticket. Airlines give credits for flight tickets. So I'm so confused on why Elise jumped her happy ass on that plane. But I bet you one thing, I bet you she wish she didn't right now. I bet you she wish she didn't get on that plane right now. So now she's got a whole situation on her hands. She had working through the death of her sister, who died at the hands of some fool who was also the victim of femicide. And now she's herself caught up in a situation pertaining to femicide. Like, you can't make this stuff up. That's what I'm saying. Lord Jesus, I can only hope that it gets better. The next generation is smarter than the current. Listen, y'all, it's got to get better. Okay, where I'll leave off on that. So them fools blamed it on alcohol poisoning. A Mexican police report claims that a doctor from a local hospital was with Robinson and the other people staying at the villa for almost 3 hours before she was pronounced dead on October 29th. According to a police report, an hour into Gutierrez's house visit, Robinson began to have a seizure. 911 was called shortly after by one of the housemates, which they say supposedly Donovan. She was supposed to have been the sharpest knife in the drawer. Donovan, what was her name? Winter Donovan. She was supposed to have been the sharpest knife in the drawer, but clearly they all was damn dumb because she wasn't even smart, and they trying to say she was the damn brains of the crew. By this point, Shanquella Robinson was struggling to survive. She was suffering from difficulty breathing and a lowered pulse. At 4:49 p.m., Gutierrez detected Robinson had stopped having a pulse. They quickly began giving her CPR. The report says police arrived at 5:25 p.m. and paramedics administered a total of 14 rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, and 6 discharges AED shocks without success. Shanquella Robinson was pronounced dead at 5:57 p.m. Wow. True child. Super Patriot said that's all you need to know about her, I guess. Lord Jesus. There is a legal precedent for extradition. Like, it's just, when I say all of them need some charges like thrown at them, even if they all, I mean, I'm just gonna say everybody needs some charges thrown at them, because Mama said that she had spoke to multiple of the so-called friends, and they were given different versions of the story, I guess, as to what happened to her daughter. So my thing is, even if everybody didn't participate with throwing a punch, what they call it, accessory, you were the accessory to the crime. Like, you were there, you ain't said nothing, you just hopped your happy ass, on the plane, went back home, and try to act like everything was all good. Like, I don't understand that part. I don't understand. So that's why I feel like everybody at some point need to be hit with some type of charge, even if it's not the murder charge. You know what I'm saying? Like an accessory or something like that, an accomplice. I don't know what you call it. Hell, I ain't no lawyer, but I feel like they need to be hit with something. And I definitely feel like Daejanae need to not feel compelled, like she need to just let it all fall on her, if she wasn't the only one that took part in the situation. That's all I'm saying. Like, I feel like everybody involved, anybody who had anything to do with the situation, should be dealt with accordingly. Like, period. And I feel like, what I'm saying, and we can look into it, I can explore that. But apparently this prison that Daejanae might be going to, it ain't no joke. They was like, it ain't no joke, and they already questioning if she a man or a woman. So that's gonna determine which location she get put at. Y'all, they were talking about them folks over there was confused because they seen her taking her hair on and off. They ain't used to seeing stuff like that over there, because y'all know in the US of A, that's how the black women roll over here. But over there in Mexican, like, that's a whole man over there, because they don't see stuff like that over there. So they gonna already have to, I don't know. I thought it's been confirmed that, she is a woman, but the Mexico, I think they still got, I think they still over there. Listen, Super Patriot, don't laugh. I think the people over there still confused, because they be like, wait a minute, hold up. We used to dealing with tracks over here. Y'all don't do tracks over in the US of A. Nah, babe, tracks, that was early, that was 2000, early 2000s. No, they doing whole lace fronts over here with baby hairs, ma'am. They got baby hairs, so they was not ready. They were not ready. Hey, y'all, then there was a part where I heard, I don't know, it was the reporter over there talking about, they also was confused and thought maybe Daejanae started fighting Shanquella because she put some underwear on her head. Because y'all seen in that fight, it looks like Daejanae had that bonnet on her head. So them people over there thought that then was some panties on her head. So they thought, okay, they was having a fight because Shanquella put some panties on Daejanae's head. So that's why they was fighting. And it was like, no, it's just crazy how, you have the cultural differences, when you go to different places. Listen, them people over in Mexico, they straight confused by them Americans that then came over in their country and got it popping. They like, y'all don't come here with that. Don't come here with that. So it's a lot going on. They over there still trying to figure it out. Also, it's saying that Daejanae is going to have, like, I think 2 opportunities to go before the judge, because they don't have no jury over there like they got over here, where you just a jury, what they say, a jury of your peers, they hear your case out and then determine if whether or not you innocent or no, that's all USA. Boo, go on, get that out your head. It don't work like that over there. You go up to the judge, Your Honor, this is my version of what happened. He hear what you said. You put your plea in. Then after some months, y'all come back to the courts. Judge hear out the DA or whatever, and then the judge determine if whether or not you guilty or not. It's like kind of cut and dry like that. So from my understanding, soon, Daejanae should have to be doing her plea soon. So I'm sure that's going to kind of hit the media as far as, what she's going to say with her plea, as far as well, what happened, her side of the story. So, like I said, I personally think she'll be a fool to try to, take the rap on her own if she didn't do it by herself, which I don't feel like she did it by herself. I feel like there were other people that played a part in it. She's just the person on that video that was kind of circulating around. Like I said, I hear there's 2 other videos, so I don't know what's on those videos. But Daejanae need to just go ahead. She ain't got nothing to lose and just tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because she really ain't got nothing to lose at this point. So I think she need to just go ahead and just lay it all out. Because best believe, I'm sure them other 6, if they was over there, they would be doing the exact same thing. So if she know what's good for her, she'll go ahead and get to talking. Because I hear somebody, I think they say she has a daughter. I think she's a mom. So not too familiar, with many of them as far as their personal lives. I mostly just kind of heard things about Shanquella and who she was. She was a hair beautician. I saw on her socials she would do little girls' hair. Very, she was definitely very skilled with braiding and doing hair. Beautiful woman. It's just sad that she's no longer with us, and now this situation will forever impact the lives as far as with those other people involved, as far as with them possibly doing jail time, because they say Daejanae can face up to minimum 20 years, but up to 50 years. That is a long time. Minimum 20 years, up to 50 years. And if she like 25, let's just say she's 25, the same age as Shanquella was. Sis ain't getting out till she damn almost 50 years old. Like, that's a long time. Like, I really don't understand what these young, or how these young people just thought that they can just do what they did and just think that they can just go on about their business. I'm still confused by that one, y'all. But that's what they did. They did what they did, and they thought like, oh, okay, well, it is what it is. I'm about to go on back to North Carolina and live my life like nothing happened. And it's quite disturbing. It's scary also, that you got people out there who can think that they can just do something like that, and and there be no consequences. Like, how do you think you can just knock off somebody and there's no consequences and it's going to go unnoticed, and you can just say, oh, she had alcohol poisoning? And then they were like, there was one of the men, what he was supposed to be her best friend, Khalil. What was his name? Khalil or something like that. I was trying to find like something that had all of their names, because I only kind of remember like the girls' names. But I know, one of the guys, he was supposedly her friend, and he's been talking and trying to clear his name. Let me see if I can see what his name is, because apparently he's been he was the one, I think. Well, there was a male saying Quilla fight back that we know that was recording. So that was, let me see. Obtained for 6 best friend. Okay, so Khalil Cook is supposed to have been her best friend. But, as we heard in the recording of the fight, there was a male voice saying Quilla like fight back. But it's alleged that I think that it was Khalil on there, it was him saying Quilla fight back. So like, y'all, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. But let's look. I want to look up to tell y'all, because remember I said they talked about this prison where Daejanae would go. That's supposed to be pretty rough, and it's no place that anybody needs to be trying to go. But I also heard talks that they say if she is found guilty, that she may be able to come back to the U.S. and do her time, which she probably would prefer. So, to Tony D. Holmes said that video when she was sitting up like she was sleeping, I believe she was dead then. It's a damn shame. They'll need to go to jail. I haven't seen that video, Tony. I've heard about how they propped her up. I think they said they had put her clothes back on because remember in the fight or something, like she didn't have any clothes on or something like that. So they really was doing the absolute most because yeah, I heard talk said supposedly I think she when she was propped up or something like that in the chair or something like that, she had clothes on. But remember when they pulled her out of bed because apparently she was known to sleep, I guess, naked. So that morning, it looked like we presume it was a morning time or something. I don't know, but Daejanae, they went and kind of got her out of her bed. So it seems like she kind of woke up out of her sleep to them come, ganging up on her. And like, just imagine like you in the bed sleep and then somebody rolling up on you talking about, come on, let's get it. You like, what the hell? You trying to damn get your thoughts together. So they did a lot. I mean, I just hope that Mexico, they throw the book at them. And I hope all of them, get time for this. I really do. And I hope that somebody ends up just coming out and just, telling what sounds like the truth. Let me, because I don't know. We ain't gonna know really exactly what happened there, but I hope Daejanae just be like, you know what? Listen, I'm just finna tell what happened. Yes, that was me. I did this part, but let's talk about the parts that these people did too. Like that's that part that I'm waiting to hear because I need more. I need more. Super Page said, wow, that's a serial killer stuff. Yes. Like I said, these are like psycho. I don't even know. And there was so many of them. Like, don't you normally have a sensible one? Like supposedly they say Elise, because I guess they saying now that, I don't know if it's in the video, but Elise, that's the one whose sister had died right before she got on the plane because her sister was taken out by a lover or whatever. But they were saying that it's believed that Elise is the one who at least stopped the fight or stopped Daejanae from continuing on to fight Shanquella. And then as a result of that, Daejanae and Elise started to argue. So that's what I heard, but I haven't seen any footage or anything to back that, but that's kind of what I'm hearing. That is what happened. But here's the thing, even if Elise did step in and do all that, she still went along with the story of the alcohol poisoning, leaving the scene. There was still so much that she still was still there, a part of. And I say she was a part of it because she didn't talk. So she didn't start talking until, okay, when the cat was out the bag, the cat was out. It wasn't like she was talking beforehand. And you know how what they say, you can cut a deal, like, yo, I'm gonna go and tell what happened. You cut you a deal. That's not really what I'm hearing. What happened? None of this came out because somebody went and started talking. It came out, from my understanding, it seemed like from that video they got released, which some people wonder if Elise released that video because apparently Elise she has an older sister who's a retired police officer. So I'm hearing that she has an older sister that's a retired police officer. So I don't know if maybe she talked to Big Sis like, yo, this is what happened. And Sis was like, listen, release that video so it can kind of help with clearing you to show that you're not in the video. I don't know, but I still don't really give her a pass just for the fact that she was there. She didn't say anything. And she really still hasn't really been talking. So it's just like, listen, all y'all guilty, But let me get back. I want to show that because they talked about the prison that Daejanae could potentially be sent to if she's found guilty. So let me find that prison. May go to, because they said it's pretty rough. So yeah, it's like it ain't no place that you want to kind of go to. In Mexico. Let's see, they said it's rough. It was like the place so bad. Let me see. What's the name of that prison? Let me see. Because they was like, hell, the place so bad, they even took out the warden. They knocked him off. Now, how did the inmates then knocked off the warden because they wasn't satisfied with the living conditions at the prison? So they went ahead and took him on out. That's how bad the prison is. Let me see. What is the name? Prison. Yeah, because yeah, they were like, no, that ain't where you want to go. I'm still trying to find that name of that prison. I'm trying to because somebody I was listening to talked about it. And they were like, nah, that ain't it. um, prison in Mexico. Is that prison? I'm not finding it. I might have to come back on that one and do it. But yeah, they was like it's pretty tough. So that ain't. But again, they're saying it's talks that she might be able to come back to the U.S. to do her time. So I'm sure she would rather do that, and then I guess her family and things would be able to kind of visit. But I don't know. I guess we gonna see. Once it plays out. What was said. But here's another thing, y'all, that I found crazy. They were like, the doctors and them didn't even notice the bumps and the bruising and all of that on Daejanae when she was pronounced dead. When she was taken to the coroners, they are the ones that were like, no, like, because remember, they was the friends, they were trying to go down the path of alcohol poisoning. So they were like, once she went to the coroners, once she went there, they were like, no. And they started seeing all these bruises. My thing is, how the hell the doctor missed all that? Like, you a whole doctor. If that woman was beat up like that, I would think that visibly you can tell that, because they say the video shows, swollen face, lump on her head, swollen eyes, and in a split lip. I don't see why anybody who saw that woman, just even when she was propped up in a chair, just still at the villa, how you wouldn't have seen that. Why would it take for a coroner to take notice of that? Remember, have y'all heard any talks as far as about the doctors and the people allegedly getting paid off? Because to me, okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm sorry. I got a little happy. I hit something. But what I was trying to say is it doesn't make sense for, if she was beat up that badly, for visibly for it to have not been noticed until she got to the coroner's office. Like, so then so it makes, to me, it sounds more plausible when we hear these talks of being paid off and things like that, because they're saying that supposedly, Shanquella had went to Mexico with like $17,000 of cash on her. There's a guy over there in Mexico who's been going on a world tour doing interviews and stuff, talking to people over here on, different YouTube content creators have interviewed him. And supposedly she had, I think, upwards of about $17,000 in cash on her. And if she did have that kind of money when she was entering into the country, she would have had to report that money coming in. So he was like, the question should be, to her family, hey, when they gave you her things, was there cash? Did they give you, what did they give you? Did they give you any money? Because it's believed that the people over there could have, as far as with the police officer, the doctors, whoever, could have been paid off with Shanquella's money, with the cash that was located in the house. So y'all, it's just like, to me, the whole situation just sounds sketchy, because ain't no way in hell, if this woman was beat that badly, all them people that laid eyes on her prior to her going to the coroner should have missed that. I'm just saying. Like I said, I ain't no doctor, but goddamn, I'm not blind. She should have had bruises. Exactly. Like, Super Patriot, she should have had bruises. So no, something's not right. Like, my thing is, I don't understand how, when the people, whoever showed up to treat her, to give CPR, whatever medical people came, eventually police came, how in the hell, with what you seen in that environment, you just freely just let those other 6 people just leave and go on about their business? Because from my understanding, they did not even leave until the next day. They left a whole day. They still had an extra night on their vacation to use. I think Shanquella, or credit, they ended up getting refunded because they left an extra day early. So it just makes no sense. It just defies logic. That's all I'm saying. Like, from a logical perspective, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that, all those people just missed that this woman was beaten to death. Like, okay, really? No. So to me, I kind of feel like, yeah, there was something going on with a payoff, and it's just like, hey, let me go and slide you these few dollars, and you gonna let me go on about my business. Super Patron, I'm out of here. I'll catch the next one. Listen, I appreciate you. Thanks for showing up. But y'all, I'm just saying, it's a lot of questions out here, and it's reason for people to be side-eyeing the Mexican people over there. And I know that they are definitely wanting to get a resolution, just because it's impacting their bottom line, period. People not going to want to go over there like that if they're not handling. Basically, all eyes are on Mexico right now. So they're like, yo, let's see how Mexico gonna handle this situation before I'd make a decision to try to go over there. Because if somebody see that they don't handle that situation properly, the mindset's gonna be like, well, hell, I ain't going over there, because if something happened to me, they don't even care like that. So that's kind of the messaging. So I think they're really kind of having to deal with it, because everybody's like, everybody's looking at them. But clearly, based on the article, if femicide is like a whole serious situation over there, if it wasn't all eyes on them, they probably would have easily just kind of let it just be, like, okay, it's just, another life. It's just another life lost, because clearly they don't value women's lives over there. It's just like, oh, okay. And then not only was she a woman, she's a Black woman. So it's just like, well, I mean, another one bites the dust. I mean, it's just sad, but unfortunately, just with Black women, that's the feeling that many people get when something happens to us. Hey, I remember I was talking about, I was wanting to know the names of each of the Cabo 6. So I found this other site just now. Let me share my screen, and it lists their names. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, this is what I was looking for before I started this live, and I couldn't find it because I wanted everybody's name. So I am over here on, so this site right here, Daejanae Jackson leaked video on Reddit, Daejanae Jackson going to jail. Okay. So, yeah, this lists everybody's name. So let's see what this is saying. So again, remember I talked about them bruises. Like the video shows Shanquella with a swollen face, a lump on her head, and swollen eyes and a split lip. How the hell they missed all that? That's because she was attacked by a girl named Big Zena Jackson during the trip. Big Z, is that a nickname? What they call it? Big Zena. Lord Jesus. Shanquella's family wept for the loss of their daughter after the trip to Mexico that didn't make it home. Shanquella traveled to Mexico October 28th. Let's see who these people. Later, they found that she was intoxicated with alcohol. We all knew. So Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Daejanae Jackson, and Nasir Wiggins. So those were the names of the others that were with her. Yeah. I really want to know the name of that anybody know? Let me know in the chat the name of that prison, because they were already talking about where Daejanae could possibly be spending her time over, she's found guilty. So and it was pretty bad. I wanted to just bring that up because I wanted to show it. Let me try to do another search where to prison. Yeah, because they was like, it's pretty bad. So I'm going to try to find the name of that prison, because I can't find it right now. Just because you know how it is when you want to find something, you just can't find it. And then after y'all gone, then I'm going to find the prison watch. Y'all know how it works. Y'all know how it works. But yeah, I do know, the family and everybody, everybody's definitely happy about. Everybody's definitely happy. Her mom, Salamandra, everybody's happy about the arrest that has been made. So, I mean, that's something. Here it talks about the spine neck. Okay, so the autopsy revealed that. I'm going to share my screen also on this one because I found some talking about the autopsy. So it demonstrates that her spine and neck were broken. So that's pretty much what came out during the autopsy. So this is Daejanae, the one the Mexicans thought that was a man, but yeah, I don't know if people over here think she a man, but I think, yeah, like I said, they was confused as they seen her taking her wig on and off. Will Daejanae Jackson be in prison? Let's see if it'll say anything about Daejanae's penalty. Is unknown because the case has not been public. The investigators need to go gather more information and twigs of evidence pointing to the suspect, because there's significant proof that she was the one who viciously beat her. So it's not saying here the name of the prison. It is unknown what motives her to defeat Shanquella, and only Daejanae knows the reason. Have anybody heard of any reasoning as to why? The reason, because I did see footage where I guess they were playing a game. So it's just like, okay, did something go left during the game that they were playing? Because that was probably one of the more recent videos I seen where it was like they were playing a little card game or something like that. And it seemed like, everybody was having a good time. But it's like that next morning is kind of like when the fight went down, because Shanquella's mom said that she had spoken to her that first day she got there. And that was just the last time she spoke with her. I think the next day is when Shanquella, was murdered. Yeah. It's a sad situation. Literally here today, gone tomorrow. And given that she was supposedly with some friends, that's just the crazy part. It's just like it wasn't even like at the hands of like some strangers. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna keep following this story and see what happens because I'm really curious to know if Daejanae is going to start, talking and implementing any of the other five people, five friends that were a part of, when I say friends, I loosely use the word friends, but the Cabo Six is what they're known as. So, of the Cabo Six, I'm definitely curious to see if Dejanay is going to implement any of the others. Because right now, all the heat is on her because she is on the video. So it's like all eyes are on Daejanae Jackson. And like I said, I heard she has a daughter. So, hopefully I would imagine that, she's right now, thinking a lot about her daughter. It's unfortunate that at the time when she was on her vacation, she wasn't thinking about her at that time. Cause, had she been thinking about her daughter, she wouldn't even risked it all like that. She just, it's the things that happen when people just move without thinking. And now what they say, hindsight is 2020, and it's like it's no going back. There's no do-overs. There's certain situations where we have a chance to kind of fix it and make it right, but this is one of those situations to where she can't. A woman's life was taken, and you can't bring a person back. So at this point, I feel like Dejanay has nothing to lose other than to just tell the truth about what happened. Like what else is there? There's nothing else. Just kind of just talk. Just say what happened. Just say what happened, because right now we all know that someone died. So just tell the story as to what happened. That's all to me. That's what's left to do. And I doubt it would have any bearing on her sentence, but well, let me just say that it could have a bearing on her sentence if, say, based off of what she says. But here's the thing. Like I said, there's multiple videos they say that are out there. I've only seen the video as far as with the fight with Daejanae and Shanquella. So if Daejanae is saying, hey, I'm not the one who killed her, such and such did, she would have to be able to prove that. That's my thought. So only how she would really be able to prove that would be if there is additional footage out there that shows, I guess that would show the fight, and then I guess based on what's happening, I would imagine then based on what's happening in the fight, it would take for an expert to be able to say, okay, yes, I can see that within this fight, when that person did that, it could have resulted in this. You see what I'm saying? Versus seeing the fight between Daejanae and Shanquella, because the parts of the fight that I saw between Daejanae and Shanquella, I didn't see anything that looked like it would end Shanquella's life. Like, not the little video I saw. I didn't see nothing. It was just that, it was a beat down, all right, and Shanquella wasn't fighting back, but it wasn't nothing that somebody wouldn't be able to walk away from, if you know what I mean. It was like a fight. Whereas, given that Shanquella didn't survive, it's like, okay, I can believe there's something else that happened, and maybe that may be on camera to where an expert can say, okay, in this video, I can see that at this point, this is when this young lady received the deadly blow. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, it could easily be Dejanay's word against somebody else's word, if that makes sense, y'all. So y'all, all I can say is we just got to move smart in these streets. Those that the people who we see that's not moving smart or reckless, just try our best to talk to them, encourage them to make good decisions, better decisions. Because, like I said, we don't always get do-overs. In some situations, you can kind of have a do-over to try to fix, but we have these situations like these where a life is taken where there is no do-over. There is no do-over, guys. Like, it is what it is. So at this point, we just got to sift through the evidence and a decision is made on who's guilty versus who's not. And right now, Daejanae is the one in custody who is presumed to be the one that looks to be the most guilty, I will say. But we're going to keep watching. We're going to keep following. But I do thank y'all for showing up. Please make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. So when I come back, because I'm sure I'll come back and try to do an update or whatever on this story, because it's a lot of twists and turns, y'all. So as y'all seen, I was all over the place just trying to piece this together because it is a lot. So I do appreciate y'all for tapping in with me and just giving me some information of whatever you may have. But y'all, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And this is Chic from Chic Speaks. Peace. I am out. Oh, leave a comment, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Like, listen, y'all think Daejanae gonna talk, or y'all think she just gonna, ride it out and be like, yeah, I did it, and just take the lick? Like, what y'all think? What y'all think? Go ahead and get the conversation popping in the comments. I love to read comments, and I'll be checking in. So until the next live, peace out. Chic, I'm out.